I think the number one misconception about alcoholism is that alcoholism is, in fact, a mental health disease. The problem is, so many people are kind of ignorant of what's going on and they deal with their reactionary emotions. Thus, they create an opinion, which is both inaccurate and in some ways can be harmful to the alcoholic and to the person doing the accusations. Unfortunately, so many people have this particular standpoint and they stand by it and they drag their feet, and they aren't willing to really get the insight and understanding and the psychological and medical concepts and reality that alcoholism is a mental health disease. So let's delve into this a little further. And I understand what a lot of people think is an argument that if you call it a mental health disease, well, then that just gives the person, the alcoholic, that crutch to just call it a disease, and they don't have to take the culpability of dealing with it, which really is nothing is further from the truth. It's more about the person doing the accusation than the reality of the alcoholic. The alcoholic certainly needs to take culpability, but if it's a disease, it has to be approached as a disease, both medically and psychologically. This is why, people who have reactionary emotions are actually doing harm. They can create shame and guilt and drive the disease further underground and in hiding, which heightens the whole problem to begin with. So to continue this conversation, let me give you a few references. For example, the American Medical Association has deemed alcoholism as a mental health disease since 1956. So we're going on almost 70 years with this designation. But that's not just the end of it. The American Society of Addiction Medicine, ASAM, has defined addiction as a chronic brain disorder as compared to a moral deficiency or a product of a personal choice since the 1970s. Again, a mental health disease. The National Institute on Drug Abuse, NIDA, concluded that alcohol addiction is in fact considered a mental health issue since 1980. And the American Psychological Association, APA, has deemed it a mental health disease since 1982. So these are really the people we should be listening to, not someone who has an opinion because they're having a reactionary emotion to a loved one, or they feel that someone's trying to get away with something or pull something, the wool over somebody's eyes. This is, in fact, a psychological and a mental health issue. And then I'd like to read this little paragraph, which is directly from the American Medical Association, and it kind of goes like this. The innate problem with the personal choice, which argues that the disease designation gives people a convenient justification and a crutch to continue to drink. It's not my fault, it's a disease. And that note, this, however, conflicts with the long-term use of evidence-based treatments adopted by hospitals, clinics, major health organizations, and treatment facilities. Like the people who do this for a living. But all kidding aside here, the real point is that the designation is giving people the opportunity to approach this in a medical and a clinical way. This is why we have, detox and rehab and sober living facilities and outpatient facilities and inpatient facilities and group therapies by the scores in every designation for women, for men, AA, smart recovery. There's all kinds of tools available for people out there. If you have the will to get healthy, the tools are available. And my goal is to get families connected to these and understand what's going on with their loved one who's an alcoholic. And again, if you find this kind of information helpful, if you have an alcoholic in your family or if you're an alcoholic yourself, click on the link above. Schedule a breakthrough call with me. I've helped thousands of alcoholics, and just as importantly, I've helped their families. And again, please like, share, and comment. We also have a Facebook group called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. It's growing by leaps and bounds. Come join us. We talk about alcoholic issues. And it's really becoming a support group as well. And again, thanks for listening.